Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk about Survivor.io. This is a game that has gone viral. A lot of people are playing it, but in this video I want to prove to you that this game is rigged and the developers are trying to force you to purchase items. So as you can see at the beginning of this video, I had a pretty good stack of items and equipments. I started a main challenge, it's not even a mega challenge. I've been able to successfully finish the missions, the main missions, and kill the big bosses and all of that. But then when it comes to challenges, the developers are trying to cram the enemy on your head so that you're forced to basically purchase items, hoping that you can pass these missions. As you can see, I'm getting the skills that might have EVO or evolution so that I will get a bigger effect from them together. So I have like a fortified field, like increase my speed with the boots. Here I guess I get HE fuel so that the rockets that you shoot are going to be stronger and like their range is going to increase. And as you can see that I can eliminate the enemy units pretty easily at the beginning of this game. It's very normal. I have kunai as my weapon. This is pretty strong when you upgrade it to shuriken. I also have guardian drones because I would anticipate that there is going to be a lot of enemy units around me and I need some protection against them. There is also the fortified field. As you can see, the green aura around me. It's going to help me with so many enemy units. But offense is the best defense. I've also acquired these drills and the bolts, and I try to EVO them as well. The pretty neat thing about them is that they move so fast and they can just eliminate so many enemy units quickly. So I'm just acquiring these weapons, and force field is pretty strong. I've also worked on that in the technology section of the game, so the damage is actually doubled, but the range is I guess 25% reduced. So as you can see, I still don't have the magnet, so I have to acquire these basically green and blue and yellow gems one by one, whatever you call it. I just want to call them gems. And so the game becomes a little bit difficult quickly, but it's still possible to just kill all these enemy units. And the lucky train, I just try to skip it very quickly. There's like guardian at 4 drones right now, which is pretty neat. And you want to also get the Exo Bracer so that you can EVO this guardian unit as well. So as you can see, I'm just trying to get as many gems as possible. The problem is with these blue, I want to say bullets that are thrown at you. A lot of things in this mission and in some other missions might look innocuous, but actually they damage you really bad. Like you will have some enemy units that can be killed really quickly and easily, but you don't want to touch them at all because just touching them reduces your hit point by a lot. So at this point it's easy to just ram over all these enemy dogs, which for some reason have gone zombie. So I also got this 1% increase for my hit point because I want to EVO that with the force field. So as you can see, I'm just trying to get as many gems as possible before the first big boss arrives. So as you can see, I get the drill shot. I want to make it EVO as soon as possible. I'm pretending that I'm on a phone for these things. The part that makes me infuriated is that since I don't have a magnet at this point, I'm missing out on a lot of these gems. And the problem is, as time goes on, um, the effect of each of these gems is going to reduce. So you want to get these gems as soon as possible, but unfortunately if you don't have a magnet, then it's going to be hard to get to the next level. So you have to just keep moving. Unfortunately, I have some speed increase, and the enemy units are not that strong at this point because I can just run over them or just run close to them, and my force field and the ring that I have will help me kill them. And then there's these shots. So yeah, and now there's the big boss. I improved my guardian angels. So since I have this kunai, I pretty much don't have to stay near the big boss, but sometimes you want to just get close to them. Maybe you want to use your force field. The lucky train at this point gives me some lightning boost, and at this point I try to increase the number of balls. Oh boy, look at it now. So the game expects you to survive these things, which is okay. I mean, it pretty much ramped up the difficulty really quickly. But since I don't have the magnet, you can see that I can still just miss a lot of these, yellow gems. And at this point I was like, oh, I'm done. Like, look at my hit point. My hit point was, I guess, more than 20,000. But just touching a number of enemy units reduced it a lot. But lucky for me, if I get new skills every time I get 20%, I guess 20% boost in my hit points. So one way to increase my hit point is to just wait, because I have that restore skill. Another way is to just get new skills by acquiring new gems. And you have to just be optimizing at this point, because you see a lot of these like blue gems, but they pretty much have no effect on your experience level. So you want to just go for the yellow ones. And I don't know why they don't have purple ones, because with the other skills in the game, you have like, you start with normal parts that are just gray, then you upgrade them to green, and you upgrade them to blue, and then you have purple ones, and then you get yellow skills. For example, the kunai that I have acquired right now is at yellow, and then finally if you have epic, I guess it's red. But anyway, so I've unlocked this main challenge before I even got to the epic levels. And normally you'd think that when you unlock some challenge, it means that you can finish this challenge, or the developers designed it so that it kind of tests how well you play the game. But at this point I'm kind of disappointed, because what they're actually expecting me to do at this level is have a lot more items, not skills. And by skill, I don't mean the skills that I acquired during the game. I mean the strategy. For example, when you see a lot of these enemy units around you, one thing that I usually do is I try to run in circles. So, like, if you try to run around them, basically go around them, they keep following you, but then after a while, when you go back to the first point, you can, as you can see, you can grab all those gems. And now I have the whistling blow. As you can see, all my weapons are here. I have to EVO the guardian drones as well, but the whistling blow is really neat, and especially if you can increase the speed of that even further, that will be really good. At this point, these green gems have pretty much no effect on the experience level. You just have to run over the enemy and grab as many of them as possible, but it takes a long time to upgrade to the next skill. With kunai, you have to have one of the skills, which is I'm not sure what's it called, but you gotta have a skill that allows you to acquire experience faster. Unfortunately, I don't have it here. If I did, then I could upgrade my kunai to a shuriken. But because of all these things that are happening, sometimes the game doesn't offer you the EVO options for skills, and that's unfortunate. But still, you must be able to pass the game, because the shuriken has a really good attack level and it's very fast. But the problem with this challenge is not that your attack is low, it's just that the game designers try to basically increase the number of enemy units. Look, like they just try to distract you with so many enemy units, and you don't know how to kill all of them, how to survive for all of them. And their attack is so high that even if you touch them, your hit point is going to be basically gone. So I don't think having shuriken would have helped me in this scenario. Maybe a little bit, but still, when you have well, shuriken is a point sort of weapon. It means that it can kill one enemy unit at a time. But when you have like 10 or 12 of these like pigs around you, shuriken is not going to help. You must have something that stops the enemy units. And even if I had like EVO'd my force field, where I guess at some point I try to do that, but now I have the defender, which is a very good guardian drone. But like I said, if I EVO the force field, it will slow down the enemy units, and it might give me some more time to kill them and survive a little bit longer. But I guess the problem that I have with this game is that they expect you to like upgrade all your weapons and skills and all of that in a way that you cannot do that just by playing the game. Like you have to really purchase their survivor pack or other things. At this point, I get the force field because I really want to get to that skill, which is this is my domain. And I try to do a good job. Like sometimes you have to move slowly so that you get the gems on the ground. And at this point, I have a pretty good magnet. So if I just stay here, the quantum entanglement balls are gonna do a lot of damage to enemy units. And if it was just this, then I'd be fine. Like, look at me, I'm just acquiring all these gems. And sometimes you have to move towards the enemy because it gives you a higher chance of getting these yellow gems that have a higher impact on your experience. So I'm doing that, but you have to also be cautious because the game suddenly just pours all these enemy units on you, and you have to be able to just run. And so far so good. I'm just acquiring these gems, but it's like the piece before the storm. I get the restore to 4% per second because I anticipated this thing. But look, just surviving this thing is gonna take some of my hit point. And then there's like one of those elite units, the big cat. So I'm just doing the same strategy, trying to run in circles so that enemy units will follow me. But then when I get to the first point, I get to just get a lot of these gems. But like these small enemy units, they get killed quickly, but they also can do a lot of damage to you if you touch them. And the problem with them is that since they're small, sometimes they can, I mean, they also move fast. Sometimes they can, basically pass through the defender or these like big red drones that you have around you. So you see that I get killed at this point just by these small enemy units, and I'm trying to just survive. So like I'm getting the gems that are required, and yeah, now I have the this is my domain skill. It gives me a little bit more time to kill enemy units, but look, I don't think it's possible to survive all these units. And I even use one of those revival like gems or stones or whatever you call it, but with all these enemy units pouring over your head, and a lot of these boxes basically be empty. It's almost impossible to survive, and now you have two elite zombies, the big pig and the big cat. So I try to do the restore 5% hit point per second, which at this point isn't gonna do much, because the problem is not restoring your hit point. The problem is that your hit point must be like well over 80,000 so that you can survive this thing. My hit point is 20 something thousand, and I try to increase my offense and attack. For example, now I have more lightning and it does more damage. Still, I can survive a little bit, but I know that this is not going to end well, and I know that this is, the game designers trying to force me to purchase something so that I can upgrade my equipment to the epic level. And like I said, sometimes I try to move slowly so that I can keep getting these gems, and sometimes you have to increase your magnet range because you want to get as many gems as possible. But these are the final moments. Unfortunately, the game tries to force you to purchase things, and yeah, so when I died here, I decided not to purchase anything, and the game is rigged.